Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Bleav in Bengal podcast. Yours truly, Solomon Wilcox here. Stick around. We're going to have a very special guest coming up. But first, I want to tell you about Bet Online. It is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football. That's right, everything, including NFL football. And of course, from the preseason NFL games to the college kicking off. And of course, Bet Online has every stat, every matchup, even the live odds and spreads while the games are still being played. Think you know your stuff? Well, get in on our winner-take-all $300,000 NFL Survivor pool for this upcoming 2024 season. And when the game is over, head over to our online casino. You're going to absolutely love it because you're going to be able to get in on some blackjack. You're going to be able to play some poker. You're also going to be able to unwind with one of over 150 slot games. Just head over to the website today and use the promo code Bleav, B-L-E-A-V, and get in on all the action. Bet Online, that's where the game starts, right here. All right, everyone, listen, we finally got our 53 guys. Bengals have made some cuts. Other teams have made cuts. If you want to know who, there's one player that stands out for me that the Bengals ought to think about picking up after he's been cut by his team. And you say, why would the Bengals want a player who's been cut by another team? Because he's one of ours. And I'm talking about Samaje Perine. He was such a wonderful, reliable running back as a runner, as a guy who can catch it out of the backfield, and an excellent pass protector for Joe Burrow in the passing game. And oh, by the way, he can catch it out of the backfield. He was such a reliable running back that I would love to have him back in our running back room. And I know we have some guys now that we really love. There's no Zach Moss. He's going to be our guy. Chase Brown, he's going to be our guy. But man, Samaje Perine is like that. He's like that safety blanket. He's like that Swiss Army knife that whatever you need, he's got it. Whatever you need him to do, he can do it. And he can do it at a very high level, including protecting our quarterback, Joe Burrow, in the passing game. If we did pick him up, we only would pay him the veteran minimum. The Denver Broncos would have to pay the rest of his salary. Isn't that great to have a worker come over to your house and work on your pool, to redo your roof, and someone else has got to pay the guy? That's the best kind to have. So Samaje Perine, I'd love to have him back. There's no doubt about it. Look, Myles Murphy's probably going to start the season on the PUP list. For me, it's a very big deal because I was counting on him to be sort of our third pass rush guy outside of Trey Hendrickson and Sam Hubbard. Coming up later in the show, we're going to talk to Cincinnati Bengals radio analyst Dave Lapham. And I'm going to ask him about Joseph Ossai and how might he factor in the upcoming 2024 season with Myles Murphy on the PUP list, which means he won't be available for the first 4 games dealing with that injury. But maybe come week 5, week 6, he gets to be added to the list. That means we're going to need some production out of Joseph Ossai, who is a good player when healthy. This is the year for Joseph Ossai to really make a name for himself on the Cincinnati Bengals defense. Our defense is going to need 2 things. We're going to need better pass rush. We're going to need to hit the other quarterback, and we're going to need better coverage on the back end. Better than we did last year, where we gave up the most pass plays of 15 yards or more than any team in the National Football League. Those days are over. We have Von Bell back. That's right. We've got some really good players on this defense. We got Geno Stone in the secondary with Von Bell. We got Cam Taylor-Britt, DJ Turner, Dax Hill, and my man Mike Hilton. This secondary has a chance to be one of the best in the NFL, but we got to have that pass rush. We got to have a presence when it comes to hit, hurrying, and harassing the quarterback. Can't wait for week 1. New England Patriots don't know if they want to start the rookie Drake May or the veteran Jacoby Brissett. I'm going to tell you right now, Patriots, don't you start that rookie coming up in here. It's going to be a long day for Drake May coming into Paycor Stadium, a rookie quarterback going up against Lou Anarumo's defense. So get ready for the veteran. But I'm going to tell you right now, they put Drake May in there. We throwing everything at him, including the kitchen sink. All right, stick around, everyone, because when we come back, we're going to be joined by Cincinnati Bengals radio analyst, and that's right, the host of the In the Trenches podcast, Dave Lapham, joining us right here on Bleav in Bengals podcast on Bally Sports Ohio. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Bleav in Bengals podcast right here on Bally Sports Ohio. I'm Solomon Wilcots, and he is the great Dave Lapham. That's right, the host of the In the Trenches podcast and Cincinnati Bengals radio analyst. Been doing it for quite a long time. And Dave, good to have you on the show. First of all, look, we're down to our 53 guys, right? Just kind of talk to me about this. How did you see it? Is there anyone that may have been released that surprised you? Anyone who's no longer on the team that was cut by the team that surprised you?
No, really nobody in that regard, Solly. And as we know, it's the cut to 53, but it's not the final roster.
Right. That's right.
There's going to be, in the next 48 hours, there could be turmoil in the 53-man roster. There's going to be 16 practice squad guys added to it, a 69-man roster by tomorrow afternoon. And there were no real big surprises. I think as I look at it now, 25 offense, 25 defense, 3 specialists. I mean, it's a perfect mix, a perfect blend in terms of even Steven there. But the makeup of the roster, only 4 defensive ends, 6 defensive tackles. That's not going to stay that way.
Yeah.
They'll deactivate McKinley Jackson. I mean, he's got an MCL. It's not something for 4 weeks. They're not going to put him on an injured list, but he may be deactivated for a week or two, so that would knock it down to 5 on the 48-man roster. But I think there's going to be some tweak in there. 5 linebackers, 10 defensive backs, which I had on a projection. I had 5 corners, 5 safeties, but that's the 25. 10 down linemen, 5 linebackers, 10 DBs, 5 and 5 on the back end, safeties and corners, 5 linebackers, and then 6 and 4. Offensively, I had 9 offensive linemen, 5 tight ends. I'm not sure.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
I think McLaughlin is the one that's vulnerable, obviously. I mean, I think it's there may be a situation where they knock that down to 4. 6 wide receivers right now, and you can make a case for every one of those. 5 tight ends, though. That one's a little bit of a question mark. 2 quarterbacks, 3 running backs. So, you look at the 5 tight ends, and you look at the tight end room, you look at the defensive line room in terms of the imbalance of defensive end, defensive tackle. There could be some tweaking there, I think, Solly. So as Yogi Berra, it ain't over yet,
Yeah, it's not over. They're still going to be adding. They're going to look to see who's on the waiver wire.
Yep.
And I want to start by at least ask you, did anyone who made the team, did that surprise you? And maybe after giving it a second thought, is that surprise a good thing for the Bengals?
Yeah, I don't think as it unfolded. I mean, I think if you before they went to training camp and played in preseason games, I think if somebody said Muma, Jung Meta is going to be the leading tackler of the defense, and Muma's a great story. Eric All at the tight end position, rehabbing from that knee. This is 9-month rehab. He's really come on strong, Solly. I mean, in terms of complete game, the highest ceiling blocker and receiver combination, he's the guy. Yeah. You got a tight end that's really strong receiver, but really strong blocker. They have receiver. Eric All might be the best mix, the best combination. He's a good story to look at. I don't think there are huge surprises though. With the roster, it pretty much according to Hoyle. I do think, though, you look at it, I mean, the average age of the roster is even younger than last year, 25.8 years old. Karras and Brown, Ted Karras and Trent Brown are 31 years old. They're the old bloods. 48 players. Now, some of them are on the injured list, and again, Solly, could tweak.
Yeah.
But 48 of the 53 right now, and there's a couple more, 55, a couple of them are on the reserve injured list. But you add practice squad players, it's going to go way above it, are 5 years or less experience. I mean, it's a young football team. There's no doubt. And then all 10 draft picks this year made it, plus 2 college free agents.
Wow.
You've got Muma, and you've got Ryan at punter. He's made it because you got a couple of guys. You had Brad Robbins go on the reserve injured list. You also had Miles Murphy go on the reserve injured list. and you had DJ Ivy go on the PUP list. So those guys, they don't count on the 53-man roster, but at some point in time when they come off, somebody's going. Somebody's going. So it's flex.
Dave, talk to me about Myles Murphy. He's going to be missed. We were expecting a real pop from him, right, in year number 2. So tell me who provides the production outside of Hendrickson and Hubbard as our next defensive end in the rotation, or our next edge rusher who we could expect to get that production from. Where does it come from?
It's down to Joseph Asai and Cedric Johnson right now, Yep. And you're right. In my mind, Myles Murphy was ascending.
Yes.
And it's too bad he got hurt.
Yep.
I think Osai, if he could stay healthy, he's ascending. He had a good camp as well. He had a strong camp. Cedric Johnson, the draft pick, later draft pick. I think he's a story for him to make it. I think Matt Lee, the center that made it, the last pick of the draft, the last pick of the draft to make it, they had him rated a lot higher. They had him, end of the 4th, beginning of the 5th round, but there he was still at the end of the 7th, and they jump on him. For him to make it and Muma to make it as a college free agent linebacker, I think, those are great stories. But I do think that potentially, Solly, like you said, they're looking at the waiver wire.
Yeah.
Because you only get 4. And you got, one that, okay, well, Myles Murphy, he'll be coming off, but that's 4 weeks down the road.
Yeah, you got to play now, right?
Exactly.
We got to play now. I want to ask you, because there was one name that jumped off the waiver wire, at least at me, when I saw that the Denver Broncos had released Samaje Perine. And I was told that he was in a battle with Javonte Williams to be the starter there. And so he ends up being free. What's the percentages that he could come back to us? And would there be anything that's a cost prohibitive? In other words, having to pick up his salary if he passes waivers, then obviously you could pay him the veteran minimum. But what's the attraction there? Is there still an attraction? He was so good for the Bengals in his role. He does so many good things well. I could still see there being some attraction. What say you?
I agree. I think, it's like now that he's cleared waivers, it's not, I know Denver probably tried to, they tapped the phones and see if there was any trade interest and try to get off the contract. Was like, nah, baby, nah, go ahead and let him go. Now, when the Bengals went to the Super Bowl, they were the 31st pick. They were the 31st team on the waiver wire, and it's like, geez, how many people are going to come to them at 31? They got 3 guys that fell to 31 that they were interested in and pull off the waiver wire that cleared. And it's like, man, they make those additions to a Super Bowl roster? Son of a gun. Well, now with a 9-8 record, they're kind of in the middle. Will Samaje last that far? That's the thing right now, because all you have to do him is, like you said, Saul, give him the NFL minimum, and Denver's got to pay the rest.
That's right.
So, and here he is. The Bengals are fond of him because, like you said, complete player. Ran it well, caught the football, willing blocker.
Great protector, great pass protector. There's no doubt.
Simmons liked him in special teams.
Yeah.
He filled a role there. So, it's like, here you go. If I'm Travion Henderson, I'm thinking, I'm not sleeping. If they think he's a better option than Travion can do all those things as well. And, but okay, is Samaje a better option there? Or do we go with 4, deactivate 1? It's like, who knows? So it's going to be interesting to see. And like you said, Solly, it's like, all right, well, man, we're really, really weak at this position. I can't believe how strong this team was at this position. The players they waived, man, they're better than the back end of ours at this position.
Yeah.
We'll get that. So that there's always an imbalance. Somebody's got a lot of gold at one position group, and man, you don't even have Siller. You're struggling. And then all of a sudden, man, we can make ourselves better. So Zach Taylor, every time I talk to him about, does it make a difference if a guy was in your camp, through OTAs and all that, and you've spent all this time working with him, invested all this time in developing this? He goes, we're going for the best 53. If the guys are better, we're going for the best 53.
That's right.
Feel like they can get him up to speed, quickly, and it's great. You feel badly that a guy that you put all that time with and everything into, but that's the NFL, man. It's cutthroat. It's like, move on and bring this guy in.
So talk to me about this, because I know that we're still looking for that third wide receiver that Joe Burrow can rely upon outside of Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Who do you think has ascended throughout the training camp, throughout the preseason games? Has it been Andre Yosivas? Is it Trenton Irwin? Is it Charlie Jones? Who's been the guy that you see fitting in and adds a comfort level to what Joe Burrow wants to do in the passing game as that number 3 wide receiver?
Yeah, I mean, I think Andre has really worked hard in the offseason, gotten stronger, hasn't cost him any speed. He's really good with short space quickness, running routes. He's very intelligent, knows where to be, when to be there. I think Andre has thrown his hat in the ring. You know, Charlie Jones is a lot better with the playbook than he was last year as a rookie. I think he collided kneecaps and had a bruised knee, or, bruised patella basically, that cost him a few practices. But, he's in that mix. But as we know, Solly, I tell you, man, the guy that Joe Burrow loves, that you can always count on, is going to be a pro's pro, Trenton Irwin.
Yes.
I'm not saying he's necessarily that number 3 guy, but man, anytime you need him to be,
he is. He is.
He is.
Whatever you need him to be, that's what he is,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, and it's like, all right, then Burton, it's like, all right, well, is the young buck, is he there physically? Yeah, the things he does, to compete and get the football are extraordinary.
Yeah.
But is he ready, mentally to take it all on and be that third guy? Or is he going to be the 4th, 5th guy that might be a return guy? Charlie Jones is a return guy, a battle there. I mean, what if they only go with 4 receivers? Who gets deactivated that week? If they go with 5, they're all going to be up and active. But yeah, I know it's a crazy situation there. But will they stay with 6? I mean, I think they probably will. I would think they would go with 5 on a weekly basis. And the thing that's interesting, you look at it and you say, all right, man, 5 tight ends. Yeah, boy, that position group's a little bit heavy. 6 defensive tackle, that position group's a little bit heavy. But the 5 tight ends, at least they can play special teams. The 6 defensive tackle,
Yeah.
But, you're looking at 5 tight ends. You're looking at 5 linebackers with the new kickoff rule. Those kind of guys might be, we need bigger body guys that can run and disengage on that new kickoff rule. I mean, so many things to contemplate and consider there. But I just the mix 4 defensive ends and 6 defensive tackles just kind of. I mean, the other way around makes a little bit more sense to me than 4 edge guys and 6 defensive tackles as you're doing a roster like that. But it's going to be interesting to see how it all shakes down. I will say that I did have the 9 offensive linemen in my mind after watching them all through training camp and everything. Watch Matt Lee ascend and watch Jackson Kirkland ascend, particularly when he put him out there at right tackle. He had never played it, high school or college. Never played it. Goes out there. After a couple of series, man, he's taking good sets. I'm like, okay, he can play both guards. He can play both.
Great.
There's the guy, and now cost Trey Hill his job.
Yeah.
He moves on. It cost Jackson Carman his job.
Yeah.
But, it's position versatility, man. It's like
that's right. And a desire to want the job. You got to show these coaches that I want to do it.
Yep.
and that's displayed by how you go about your business every day at practice. When you take the practice field, you are very intentional. You could tell who wants it, and it's a good thing. Look, tell me about what's happening.
Point, Solly. One quick thing: Jackson Kirkland, Solly. At the end of every rep and pass, he's ready to fight. He's ready to go. At the end of a pass rush,
I love it.
As Jackson Carman, kind of like,
I love
gave
it.
an edge up and went head down, and Jackson. It's like, man. Just the body language alone. One guy wants it, and the other guy's kind of like, does he really want to do this? What's up?
Hey, 2 dogs, 1 bone, baby. Who wants it the most, right? And look, it's easy to tell. I want to find out what's happening at the opposite corner position on the other side of Cam Taylor-Britt. Who has the edge there to be the starter for us? Will it be DJ Turner? Will it be Dax Hill? And how about Josh Newton, who saw a lot of action during the preseason?
Yeah, I mean, they like all of them, and Josh Newton has some position versatility.
Yes.
The thing is, Solly, and you're a versatile player. You love this aspect of it. I mean, every single corner. Mike Hilton is the slot corner.
Yeah.
DJ Turner can play in the slot. Dax Hill can play in the slot. He's done it. Newton showed he can play. All these guys can play in the slot. Now, Mike Hilton's the slot guy. He's not going to go outside, but a lot of these outside guys can go inside.
That's great.
And it's like, so I don't know. It's going to be, in my mind, I think they feel like it's DJ Turner and Dax Hill. There's not a whole lot of separation there. They feel like, they got two starters at the other corner in those guys. Yeah. You're going to have to play three of them a ton. So it's good to have, the more the merrier there. But Turner, man, honestly, both of them, they're college teammates at Michigan.
Yep.
They both can fly. I mean, it's a nice, if you want to call it a problem, I guess I'd call it like, man, it's a nice plus to have, three guys that you look at as starting cornerback.
That's right. In this league, you're going to need three and probably going to need a fourth, but our nickel corner, that job's already taken. Mike Hilton, one of the best in the NFL at it. One last question before we let you go, Dave.
Yes, sir.
Talk to me about our state of readiness to start the season. We had Joe Burrow in training camp for the full duration, a healthy Joe Burrow, got to play in the preseason for the very first time. And now Jamar Chase is back in training camp. He's going to be practicing with the team, time enough to get some rhythm there. Tell me about our state of readiness to avoid the dreaded 0-2 start.
I hear that, Solly. I mean, I'm looking at, all right, 3 of the first 4 games. I mean, you got the Patriots, you got the Washington, whatever
Commanders, the Commanders
now, Commanders, and also the Carolina Panthers.
And you got the Chiefs in there too. Now you got
the Chiefs,
Kansas City, week 2.
Right,
yeah.
You got the Chiefs. Mm-hmm. So that one is the one where it's like, okay, well, that's. But you got to think, all things being equal, a healthy quarterback. And that's the key. Mm-hmm. We know the star that stirs the drink is Joe Burrow. That's and he took a lot of reps. He took a lot of reps in these joint practices, a ton of them. And he looked good, Solly. Yeah. And he's still that guy processing,
that's right,
communicating, making the decision quickly, getting out. He looked really good. He had a very, very strong training camp. And I'm not worried about Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow have so many snaps banked. Yeah. And I see them in the second practice. It's like they're already looking at each other, and it's like, I see you, I got you. I know where you want this back. I know where I'm going to put it. I know you know where I'm going to put it. I know you're going to make – I know you want where you want it. I know you know where I'm going to put it. I mean, it's like magical with those guys. I got no issue there. And Joe Burrow took – I mean, the number one offense played one drive, 12 snaps, 73-yard touchdown. Now, aided immeasurably by a 3rd and 12 penalty by the defense, but they did look good.
They looked great. They looked great. Yeah.
So I'm thinking, the whole camp, Solly, was another level above in terms of playing with an edge.
Yes.
Practices were, a lot of it situational football, unscripted drives.
Mm-hmm.
It was football. It wasn't shoulder pads and shorts, run around, play underwear ball. It was football.
They were getting ready for games. They were getting ready.
Big time, Solly. And
that's
then,
right.
The joint practices. The ones got a lot of reps. And I'm looking at the trench play, and they're going at it, man. It's like it was good stuff. And they get tired of each other. They get tired of practicing hard against each other. And then they get tired of guys, in the joint practices going at it, and then in the game. I think the edge is there. You got to play with an edge. Mm-hmm. I think the edge is there. I think they're going to come out. I'd be stunned if they come out and play like, wow, what's this? Oh, man, we're not ready for NFL football. I think they're ready for NFL football.
After the last 2 years, 0-2 start, no, they understand what's in front of them. Yep. Clearly, guys like Trey Hendrickson has said it. Jamar Chase now back in pads. Look, we don't know if he'll get his deal. I do think Mike Brown would prefer to have volunteers and not hostages, if you know what I'm saying. So they want to get them taken care of. We want this team to be happy and from the neck up, everybody content, because you and I both know this is a very big year for this group.
Yep.
To be able to stay together. So it's a very big year. You're going to be there for every minute of the call. I'm going to be listening. I'm going to be watching. So, Dave, we want to thank you for stopping by the Bleav in Bengal podcast to join us on the show. Look forward to catching up with you sometime during the regular season, okay?
Solly, I love it. I appreciate the opportunity, and we're going to have the great, and I mean great, Solomon Wilcox joining us in the trenches as well, my man. We got we got to capitalize on that football knowledge. You
Well,
got great football IQ, Saul. You're the best.
You're the best, my friend. We appreciate you. We thank you. He is Dave Lapham. I'm Solomon Wilcots.